You've got a startup idea. Great. Now you're ready to test the waters and validate your hypothesis before fully committing time and money. Why? Because you know that 35% of startups fail due to a lack of market need. What should you do first? Build an MVP. But is it the only way? What if I told you that you could validate your idea twice faster and much cheaper? Hi, I'm Ilya, the founder of Eleken, a product design agency for SaaS. And today I'll tell you about the alternative to MVP that will help you minimize early-stage business risk. Let's talk about the classic way of getting started with a new idea and the cost of MVP. First, you have to build a minimum viable product, they say. I've seen quite a few founders, especially people with tech background, who follow two rules when creating an MVP. Focus on key functions, develop the most important things, and let the market validate it. Cut the corners to save time and costs. Many people believe that they can save on design because you don't need a professional designer just to test the idea. Let's imagine we decide to follow this route and calculate the cost of the product. They have very approximate numbers based on the average project we deal with. Number of developers, 3. Hourly rate, $50. This can vary significantly based on the experience and location. Hours per week, 40. Number of weeks, 16. Total cost, 3 times 50 times 40 times 16. It's $96,000. Add here costs of needed to get the product to potential customers, launch, marketing, and so on. That's even harder to count. So after 4 months and over 100K, you finally get to ask users if they see any value in your product. If they like it, great. Now you just need to invest more in design, marketing, sales, and you're good to go. If they don't, well, you've lost all the money and now you have to adjust the idea and start all over again. Tough, right? So let's talk about the alternative method. Now, what the cheaper and faster alternative to building an MVP? Start with the design before development. Hire a good designer who can build a basic logic and create a prototype. Show this prototype to potential investors, customers, run user testing, and get feedback. Let's make the calculations now. Number of designers, 1. Hourly rate, $50. Normally, it's lower than developers' hourly rate, but we are just approximating here. Hours per week, 40. Number of weeks, 8. Total cost, 1 times 50 times 40 times 8. 16K. 16,000 for a prototype versus 96,000 for an MVP. This means that you can receive user feedback spending 6 times less money and 2 times less time than building an MVP. Yes, later you will still need to pay for developers, work, marketing, sales, and so on, but you'll be sure that the investment won't be wasted. That's how you minimize early-stage business risk. Do you need any more proofs? If so, let me tell you a story of the company that managed to validate their idea in just 2 months, spending less than $12,000. Let's take a look at the Populate case. Populate is a healthcare startup whose founders are business consultant and his wife practitioner doctor. They knew very well the problem that doctors face, the sheer amount of documentation to fill in, which sometimes takes more time than actual patient's treatment. And as a business consultant, he knew that to reach success, they needed to ensure excellent user experience, and they needed to do it before they invest in development. That's something that founders with a background in tech often neglect. You need 2 ingredients to make customer-centric product: experienced UI/UX designers and a constant feedback from potential customers. Populate came to our agency with a goal to make the most customer-centric product in their niche. That's our favorite type of client. They also needed to test specific features and ideas on doctors, and they tested them all during these 2 months that took us to design the product. We get constant user feedback from users and could adjust our designs. Here are some mockups. If you have an award-winning designer, take a look at these. They might give some critics from the authentical point of view. For example, 20 drop-downs that occupy half of the screen. They won't recommend it as a best practice at a design school. But this design saves doctors precious time. And that is what matters most for the doctors and the patients. You know, fashion designers could also critique doctors' shoes, but these shoes are what allow them to do their job well and fast. Functional design can be authentic, but a good UX designer will always prioritize functionality. Our design got approved by users. In 2 months only, Populate had market validated and ready for the development. This case demonstrates well what is true business value of design for startups. It is not just about improving usability, keeping users engaged, and reducing churn. Though I'm not saying that all those things are not important. I want to stress that true business value is more obvious and easily countable. It counts in with the potential to save or lose tens of thousands of dollars. And for startup, validating your idea is one of the most important things that defines whether you succeed or fail. To summarize, let's recall the calculation we made at the beginning of this video. Cost of MVP development, roughly $96K. Cost of prototype design, roughly $16K. The difference, $80K. That's just money, but there is also the time. Creating a prototype is about 2 times faster. If you're looking for a way to save time and money, find a good design agency and wait with the development until you validate the idea. If this video was useful, please hit the like button and subscribe, and see you in the next one.